One prospect I really feel bad for in terms of the quarterbacks this year has to be Aaron Murray from Georgia. He's somebody that it seems like a lot of college football fans seem to really like as a draft prospect. I don't necessarily fully agree with just how highly they view him, but tearing your knee up late in the season, missing all the workout stuff that maybe could have really helped improve your draft stock. I feel bad for a guy that has to deal with something like that, similar to like a Zach Mettenberger, or you saw it happen to Aaron Colvin from Oklahoma, who tore his ACL at the Senior Bowl. It's an unfortunate thing when things like that happen because these kids have been working their entire lives to try and achieve this goal of getting to the NFL level, and they get this close, and then something like that happens. Fate is an awful mistress sometimes. It truly is. The reason I think that so many people like Aaron Murray is because they see a guy that started for a few years at a major college program like Georgia in the best conference in college football in the SEC and was a highly productive player. So I could see some of that. Some of the strengths I think to his game, I look at his mobility, the fact that he is a really good athlete, that he can make some plays with his feet. He can extend the pocket with his feet. He can buy time with his feet. He can throw on the move both to the right and to the left. I think he has pretty good mechanics in his throwing motion. Not an incredibly long delivery, tends to throw in a good position. Again, something that I really like about him. He has okay arm strength, maybe just enough arm strength to be able to make all the required NFL throws and maybe just accurate enough to be able to complete those throws with some type of proficiency. There are things to like about his game, but to me, there are also some very glaring negatives when you look at Aaron Murray. His size, he's not a very big guy. He just isn't. Now you're going to throw in the concerns about durability with his size and to mention the fact that he just tore up his knee. Teams are going to look at him and say, man, he's not that big to begin with. He just tore up his knee. Can we really risk a high draft pick on a guy like him, knowing that he could always have trouble staying healthy? Again, his arm strength is okay, but definitely nothing special. Some teams might not view him as a guy that can make all the NFL throws. His accuracy is okay, but at times it's fleeting and it's inconsistent. And people are going to look at that inconsistency and say, is this a guy that we could count on a consistent basis to lead our team? His decision making at times, I don't think was very, very good. His field vision was okay. I mean, he had times where he demonstrated to me an ability to go through his progressions and reads and go to his check down when he needed to, but he also, like a lot of college quarterbacks, had the tendency to lock onto one receiver. And sometimes I was wondering what the hell he was seeing because it seemed like his decision making was very bad, that his eyes were misleading him. So I don't know. His pocket presence is okay. But, again, when you talk about pocket presence, there were times where it seemed like he understood how to step up in the pocket and buy himself some additional time, move around in the pocket. But there were also other times that I saw him and I was like, he was awfully quick to get out of the pocket there. Maybe he should have stood a little taller and maybe he should have hung tough. And instead of rolling out, maybe he should have stepped up or just moved a little to the right or to the left. Like I said, with Aaron Murray, it's kind of a complicated case with the knee injury, with his lack of size. That's going to probably move him off of teams' draft boards entirely in some teams' cases. Other teams are going to look at him and profile him as nothing more than a career backup, which is what I think he might end up being. And that's not a terrible thing because he could still have a long NFL career and make himself a decent chunk of change doing that. But I don't quite understand where so many college football fans see this guy and are so high on him and think he could do so many great, wonderful, incredible things. If he was more accurate or if he had a stronger arm, I would get that. If his decision making was better, I would get that. If he was bigger and didn't have the injury concerns and the durability questions, I would get that. But Aaron Murray is not somebody that I would spend a high draft pick on. He, to me, is nothing more than a third day pick, probably somewhere, honestly, between the fifth and seventh rounds. Now, if I'm a team looking for a guy that can come in and be a backup, that's not such a bad thing. You get a backup quarterback that you can count on to come in and win you a game or two in a pinch in the fifth, sixth, or seventh round, then you've done a good job of drafting. There's nothing wrong with that. His total grade for me in terms of physical tools was 62.5, which is the lowest grade I've given to any quarterback so far in this evaluation process in terms of physical tools. Things like not having the size, the torn knee, definitely skew that grade just a little bit. So I don't want you to think that I'm just totally ragging on the guy because, not having that size and scoring very low on durability definitely brings that overall grade down. In terms of an NFL comparison, I look at him and I see a guy like a Case Keenum, a guy that's not the biggest, a guy that can move on his feet, that can make some plays on his feet, that will be a bit erratic at times, make some big time throws, and other times you just sit there and you wonder what the hell's going on. Remember, Case Keenum was originally undrafted coming out of Houston. He was undrafted. Now, I don't know if Aaron Murray ultimately is going to go undrafted. Somebody may very well take a shot on him on the third day, which I think would be a good thing. Maybe a team like the Green Bay Packers might utilize him. I think he's going to have to stay in some type of West Coast system, which you could maybe say every team has a version of a West Coast system, and that may be true. But I don't think you want to put Aaron Murray in a system where he's going to have to stretch the ball vertically down the field a ton. Because if he has to do that, I think what you're taking away from the strength of his game, and in fact, you're putting him at a disadvantageous position. Aaron Murray, again, I see why a lot of fans like him. Like I said, because of the pedigree, because of the school he played for, and the conference that he played for, and the production level that he had while he was there. But college reality and NFL realities are two entirely different things. Aaron Murray is not a top 5 quarterback prospect in this draft class to me, and frankly, he's not even in the top 10. A guy that I think could be a solid backup at the NFL level, but nothing more than that, really.